What's up, live streamers? Today, we're talking about this big guy. This is our portable streaming rack, and it has really helped take our multicam setups to the next level. The beauty of this case is you can take it virtually anywhere. And you could set this up as your permanent command center, or you could be a streaming nomad like us and take it anywhere with you. It's also fairly affordable for how much is inside of it. When we did the math, we figured out everything included is about $5,500. And all of the products that we're gonna talk about today are linked in the description below, so check those out. All right, so let's dive in and see what's inside. Okay, so we've taken everything out and now we have everything set up close to how it would look on a project. So let's start with the least expensive but arguably most important part of this kit, which is the light. This was only $33 on Amazon, and it's just super helpful for plugging things in and troubleshooting and getting into the case to figure out what you need. All right, so now we'll talk about our video switcher, which is really where all the magic happens. This is the Blackmagic ATEM Constellation 2ME. And we could do an entire video about this product, but here are a few key things that we love about it. First off, it has 20 SDI inputs and 12 assignable SDI outputs, which basically makes it like a video switcher and a router all in one. Also, it comes with a ton of different video effects that have helped us out in a lot of different jobs, including super source, stinger transitions, graphic overlays, and a lot more. And there's even a USB webcam output, which is really great for situations where we need to go to Zoom or some other streaming software. And last but not least is the built-in scaling, which is such a nice upgrade from old ATEM models where all your frame rates and resolutions had to match. Now the switcher does all the scaling on each input for you, so you can combine different types of video sources, computers, and cameras. So now let's talk about this row of converters, and the reason we have this is because our Constellation is actually exclusively SDI, which might be my only complaint about it because I can't even get an HDMI output for multi-view. But we have 4 Blackmagic bidirectional converters here, which allows us to bring HDMI in or send HDMI out in any situation. And they're all connected to this hyper power bank, so we don't have a bunch of power supplies cluttering up the space. And we also like to just keep a set of these fun little SDI cables, which are really useful for routing things within the case. So our program feed from the video switcher outputs directly to our video recorder, which is the HyperDeck Studio Pro. A couple reasons we love it. One, you have the flexibility to record to either SSDs or SD cards, depending on what you prefer. And 2, you can record in larger codecs like ProRes and DNx HD, or you can record in H.264 if you're looking for smaller file sizes. Sometimes we'll be at events and we need to record for like 8 hours straight, and H.264 is just a much more manageable file size for those types of things. So the HyperDeck Studio Pro has HDMI inputs and outputs and SDI inputs and outputs, and the program feed from the recorder actually outputs over SDI to our BoxCast Spark encoder. So Spark is our live streaming encoder, and I actually like to have it mounted on a table or mounted on the rack so I can monitor the stream while it's live. And then I can also make any adjustments using the touchscreen interface. When paired with a BoxCast streaming plan, the Spark encoder is an amazing tool for live events. It comes in both HDMI versions and SDI versions, so check it out in the description, and we have some other videos on it that you can learn more about it. All right, moving on. The next thing you'll see here is our Mac Mini, which is nicely mounted and locked into the case, and it's just been super nice to have a computer built into the case instead of having to rely on having an extra laptop handy. Because it's an M2, it actually gives us the ability to multitask with a bunch of different programs while we're live, which can include controlling the switcher, running a Zoom meeting, running graphics, etc., etc. And you'll also see that we connect our Stream Deck to the back of the Mac Mini, so we can control our switcher that way as well, without having to have the ATEM software control open. So now let's talk about the 2 mini monitors that we actually store in the case. And usually when we're doing bigger events, we will have like a larger TV for our multi-view, but we still need 2 monitors, 1 for our PTZ camera operator, and 2 to actually operate the Mac Mini. So the Mac monitor is called an Arzopa mini monitor, and it's actually easily displayed and powered directly from one USB-C cable, which we plug into the back of the Mac Mini. For our PTZ operators, we actually have a Lilyput monitor, which has been super handy, not just for like live switching, but it's a great all-around on-camera monitor for other projects as well. And it's got a touchscreen on it. The other thing we really like about it is it has both SDI inputs and outputs and HDMI inputs and outputs, so we don't have to convert that coming from the switcher. So we actually mainly use this as a monitor for our PTZ camera operators, which leads me to another awesome thing about the Constellation. It actually has the ability to send 2 different multi-view layouts to multiple monitors. So I can have a video director build their own traditional multi-view layout with all the camera angles, and then my PTZ operator can have more of a quad view of their camera angles, plus maybe the program or super source feed. Oh, and let's not forget about the drawer, which actually stores the monitors and the keyboard and the mouse. This is super useful for storing any miscellaneous stuff we have, even the Spark encoder. And we can't forget about how we power everything, which is with this trip light power strip, which has 6 outlets on the front and 6 outlets on the back. For jobs where we're actually running PTZ cameras and controlling them, we also have an unmanaged switch here to run our Sony PTZs. And now that we're all the way through the tour, I should probably mention the case itself, which is a Gator roller rack case. It's portable and it rolls around just like a suitcase. These come in various heights from 4U to 10U, so whether you need more room for gear or you want to have even less of a footprint, you can explore those options as well. So that's it. That's our multicam dream machine. My advice when you're building out a rack kit is to go with more room than you think you need. Your future self is going to thank you because it makes it a lot easier to go in and unplug things and plug things in and troubleshoot. Like I mentioned, everything is listed in the description below if you want to check out the individual components. We'd love to hear from you about what you're using to stream. Let us know in the comments about your multicam setup. And until next time, happy streaming.